And if we go back and we look and we study, how did shirk begin? This is a very interesting subject. How did shirk begin? Because we know Adam alayhi salam was a Muslim, Hanifan. He worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although he made a mistake, he ate from the tree and Allah forgave him. And even though one of his sons killed another one of his sons, this was a sin. But amongst none of them was shirk. Indeed, when did shirk and how did shirk first appear amongst the human beings? Then we know from Abdullah ibn Abbas and also Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, both of them narrated about how shirk came. According to Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said that for 10 generations, the descendants of Adam alayhi salam were upon the fitra, upon the true religion. But then amongst the people of Nuh, this is before Nuh alayhi salam was born, but amongst those people, they had amongst them a group of people who were pious men, righteous men, and they died. So when these righteous men died, the people became very upset and very sad. They became distraught. And then Shaitan saw his opportunity. So Shaitan came to these people and he said to them, why don't you build statues of these pious people? And why don't you make images of these pious people? And put these statues in your places of gathering and these images in your homes, so when you see them, you will remember Allah more. Shaitan actually came and he told them to do something which was going to make them remember Allah more. So you are thinking of doing a bad thing, you walk into the house, you see the picture of the pious person, you say, Astaghfirullah, how could I think about that? And you remember this pious person and how he was. You're walking in the marketplace, you see the statue, you remember what a pious person he was, and you feel ashamed when you remember how pious and good he was. In fact, this was a bid'ah hasana, a good bid'ah. It was a new thing. No prophet had ever taught it to them. Allah had never ordered them with this. In fact, this came from Shaitan. But it had a good purpose. It seemed to be a good thing. We will remember Allah more. We will make more dhikr. We will remember Allah more. What is wrong with that? But you see, Shaitan had a long-term plan. The people built the statues. And for a while, it served a benefit. But what happened is that generations passed. And the people became more ignorant. And they forgot why their ancestors had built these statues and made these pictures. They forgot. And also, as the generations passed, the people started to commit more sins. And then Shaitan came to them again. And Shaitan said to them, your ancestors only built these statues and made these pictures so that in your time of need and distress, you could call upon these pious people and use them as intercessors between you and Allah. This is how shirk began. And when they did that, and they called upon these dead pious people, they committed shirk. This is how Abdullah ibn Abbas described the beginning of shirk. Subhanallah. And to these people, Nuh alayhi salam came. As we know, for 950 years he called his people to La ilaha illallah, to abandon the worship of their false gods. And that's what they had become, false gods. In fact, a man would take his son by the hand and he will say, "Oh my son, you see that old man?" Pointing to Nuh alayhi salam. "You see that old man? I warn you about him as my father warned me about him." Subhanallah. But the inevitable destruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came upon them. So shirk began, my brothers and sisters, may Allah have mercy upon you, due to the excessive love and excessive veneration of the pious people. And through their ignorance, and through their innovating and bringing new things into the religion that had not been ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did something concerning worship to Allah without knowledge. Without knowledge, meaning it was not based upon what Allah had revealed. Indeed, it was something that shaitan had inspired in them. So my brothers and sisters, may Allah have mercy upon you. For most of us, if we think about shirk, we think about Ibrahim alayhi salam. We think about this great messenger of Allah, the Khalil of Allah, who destroyed the idols. In fact, idols were not the only things that these people worship besides Allah. They also believed in the stars, and they worshipped the sun and the moon. And we know how Ibrahim alayhi salam, one day, he went into the temple and he saw the idols and he smashed all of the idols except the big one, and he hung the axe around the neck of the big one. So when the people came from their religious festivity, they were very angry. Who has destroyed our gods? And they remembered that this young man Ibrahim, he was preaching against them and their idols. So the king asked him, "Oh Ibrahim, did you destroy our idols?" And Ibrahim points, he says, "Ask the big one. Ask the chief." So they say, "Oh Ibrahim, you know that our idols, they can't talk to us." And Ibrahim says, "Why do you worship something that can bring you no benefit and can do you no harm? Why do you worship something that cannot even help itself? If it can't help itself, how will it help you?" So they ascribed to these things and they gave the worship by calling upon them, by sacrificing to them, by sacrificing in their name, by dedicating actions of worship, by putting hope in them, by putting their trust in them, by loving them. By doing these things, they gave them the actions of worship that should only be given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how they made shirk. Isn't it amazing, brothers and sisters, that a man walks into a shop. A man walks into a shop. He says, "I'd like that God, please. That one over there. It's the one I like, you know, with the long trunk and the big ears. The elephant God. Give me the elephant God." So the shopkeeper brings down the elephant God. Because the elephant God can't fly down itself. He has to bring it down. And then he hands over the elephant God to the man. And the man, pays money. He pays money for the God. And then he walks home with the God. The God doesn't carry him home. He carries the God home. Okay? And he puts it up on the shelf. It can't put itself up on the shelf. He puts it up on the shelf, covers it in perfume, sticks some candles and some offerings in front of it, and says, "Oh, elephant God, help me and do this for me and do that for me." And if the God fell down from the shelf, he couldn't keep itself from falling from the shelf. We all laugh, brothers. But how many Muslims do you find they do exactly the same thing?